Hello, baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Hello, baseball fans, and welcome into On Deck. I'm Tyler Redmond. As always, thank you so much for checking out the channel. I do appreciate you, and I appreciate you staying with us. Now, let's go ahead and just jump right back into this. Let's talk about the Braves versus the Mets, shall we? Without a doubt, the worst we have seen the Braves play, I think, all year. The first time they have lost 3 in a row, and it, of course, goes to the division rival and first place New York Mets. 4 losses to the Mets at a terrible time in August, and now 6.5 games back in the division in the NL East. Nothing I say is going to make that taste better. It's got a bad taste. But you can try to blame different things. You can blame it on the umpires. C.B. Buckner had a bad game. We're all aware of it. You can blame it on odd hits. You can blame it on injuries. Whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, the Mets were the better team. You cannot tell me that you didn't watch those games and feel like the Braves were outmatched. Because they were. I hate to say it, but they were. They were overwhelmed at the plate. And frankly, they were overwhelmed on the mound too. All the way around, the Braves got beat. And they know it. So what makes it so hard to beat the Mets? Right? We've talked about this pretty extensively, why the Braves haven't played well. It's a pretty similar combination. It's not like they had a key homer that just broke the back of the Braves. I mean, they continually, consistently beat them up at the plate. And they do a lot of things that the Braves don't do offensively right now. At the plate, the Mets battle, and that's the key word. They battle. They lead the league in the most foul balls, and you know what? Long at-bats like that stretch a pitching staff thin, hence why the Braves are struggling on both sides of the ball. But they put the ball in play, too, and that's key here. We talked a lot this past week about blown saves and strikeouts. I did a whole video on it. Go check it out. But the key thing here is strikeouts. This is the biggest problem for the Braves, without a doubt, is strikeouts. They are leading the league in strikeouts. Before this last couple of games, they were at 983. I'm sure they broke 1,000. The Mets, on the other hand, second best in strikeouts in the National League. So you got two pretty complete opposite teams, and somehow or another they're both competing for the division. In fact, if you look at the series game by game, the one game that the Braves won versus Taijuan Walker, Game 2. That is the only game that the Mets had more strikeouts in. And I'm not saying that strikeouts lead to losses, but I don't think it takes a genius to figure out that it's a common trend. 57 strikeouts over this 5-game span with the New York Mets. If you put that together, that is 2 full games of strikeouts, plus some. So 2 out of 5 games, the Braves struck out. And you can say what you want about the Mets' weak contact and luck, but putting the ball in play is the only way to get consistent offense. And the Mets have been able to do that against the Braves. They've been able to do that all year long, and it's a huge part of their success, especially offensively. Again, you can say it's luck. I've heard that all week long, that it's lucky hits here and there. But that's more than what the Braves are doing. They're not making contact. They're striking out. So if you don't believe me, go look at the post-game interviews of Spencer Strider, Max Fried, the starting pitchers of the Braves, Ian Anderson. They're going to tell you how hard it is to face the New York Mets lineup because they have long at-bats. They are hard to strike out, and that is a key thing here. And on the pitching side of things, from their perspective, from Ian Anderson, Max Fried, from their perspective, battling for long at-bats like the Mets are able to do, make pitchers not only not be able to strike you out, but they make them not be able to have quality starts. You can't go 6 innings if you threw 40 pitches in the first 2, right? So that's why that's why the Mets have been successful, and that's why the Braves are craving length right now. Because think about it. What was the last time Ian Anderson went 6 or 7 innings, right? And they're craving that length in the back end of the rotation. And that's why they traded for Jake Odorizzi, in my opinion. That's why when they did send Ian Anderson down to the minors, that's why they went and brought up Huascar Ynoa. It's not because Huascar Ynoa was lighting things up in AAA. I hate to break it to you. His 5 ERA was not, that's not going to translate to a 3 or less ERA in the majors. It's just not. Now, if I'm wrong, then by all means, let Huascar finish the year. That move was so Ian Anderson could get right for the back half of the season. hopefully that happens, but that, the jury is still out on that. But again, they are craving length. The Braves need length. That being said, for right now, they also have to change offensively. They've got to put runs on the board. In my opinion, that all starts with battling at the plate. And we have seen some improvements in the Braves lineup. Eddie has been phenomenal as of late. Acuna is breaking out again. He's finally getting out of that slump. And he has been battling some soreness. I know he was out of the lineup yesterday, but he is breaking out overall in the past couple of weeks. But those two, Eddie and Ronald Acuna, have made conscious efforts to change their swing, to change their approach at the plate, to change something. For Eddie, it was pretty involuntary. It's that he can see now, right? But he does look overall more comfortable in the box, even since he's returned. But for Acuna, there has been a different approach. You've seen him battle more at the plate. The one guy, and I don't like to do this, I really don't like to call guys out, but the one guy that I haven't seen make any changes is Marcell Ozuna. And the book is out on him, guys. He can't hit low and away. He's got a very violent swing, and he can't get, the outer part of the plate. So if you're a starting pitcher, what are you going to throw? I'm going to throw 3 sliders low and away and let him swing over the top of it. He might take a few, but that's the book on Ozuna, and it happens so much now that his average is about a 220 average and 19 homers, which doesn't look bad on paper, but in clutch situations, what is he able to do? So I look at that, and I just wish that he would make a slight mechanical change, a slight mindset change at the plate. I think it'd be a game changer. And you know what? Marcell Ozuna himself can be a game changer. His violent swing can be deadly for another team, but if he can't touch off speed low and away, what good is it? So again, his bat has the potential to change a season. We saw it in 2020 across 60 games. We have 52 games left in the regular season this year. And you know what? Again, he could be a game changer. With the loss of Adam Duvall, he might have to be. And I look at Marcell Ozuna, and I need, a power bat, but I need, more importantly, a consistent bat. And that is the key to success. So touching back just real quick to bring it all together for the Braves and Mets series. I know it was a weird series. We saw odd hits here and there. We saw injuries. We saw bad calls by the umpire, whatever you want to think. It was a very odd series. But it was also very indicative of how these teams play, because for the Mets, they have long at-bats. They have really good starting pitching. They have Edwin Diaz in the pen, and he was pretty well rested coming into this series. For the Braves, you don't have that. You have, not great at-bats, followed up by an occasional offensive burst. We saw that in Game 2 versus Taijuan Walker. But, it was very indicative of how they've played all year for both teams. And for the Mets, when you play like that, you're going to win ball games. They were able to win 4 against the Braves. So, we just saw the Mets at their best. I mean, we really did. Those were the Mets at their best. But I don't think the Mets have seen the Braves at their best. And they have an opportunity to right that wrong. Coming up this week, the Braves play the Mets 4 games at Truist Park. So if they can win in Atlanta, if they can perform in Atlanta and get some of those games back, which I believe they can, then the Braves could set themselves up for success. They can make a run in September. But right now, 6.5 games back, you have to realize the Mets games, they are important. But at this point, 6.5 games back, every game is important. I don't care if it's the Red Sox. I don't care if it's the Marlins, the Pirates, the Astros. Every game is important. I look at this calendar and I look at August 2nd versus the Phillies. We've already played this game. We've already lost this game. But it was a game that we could have easily won. And we didn't. And we had a lead late and we gave it up 3 runs in 1 inning. That cannot happen. Blown saves cannot happen. 19 strikeout games cannot happen. That was Game 5 yesterday. That cannot happen if you want to continue to compete. Something's got to give, guys, and I'm looking at this, this lineup issue, this offensive issue, just this chemistry issue, and I'm a little concerned. I'm not going to lie to you. I think this is a very good team. I think they can make a run at a postseason. They're well in the wild card race right now, but that being said, if you want to set yourself up for, a profitable postseason, I look at it and I look at October right now, and I think you got to win the division. Now, I'm not saying the Braves can't do that, but it's looking pretty bleak. They've got to perform. But I look at that, and something's got to give. Now, I'm curious if the Braves attack this series with the Red Sox different, because if I look at one series on this calendar where you got to try something new, it's the series with the last place Red Sox. And not a knock on the Red Sox, but if I got a guy I want to try out, if I got a mechanical thing I want to try out, or if I have a lineup shift I want to make, it's going to be against the Red Sox. I think you got to try something. You got to make something shake. And if I'm Brian Snitker, I'm looking at that lineup and I'm thinking of every possibility I could do to fix things, to get something going. And you know what? If Rosario, Acuna, and Ozuna have a great 52 games to end this year, the Braves could make one of the greatest runs, in recent memory. But that's got to happen if they're going to do it. So that's where I think the NL East stands. That's where my opinions are on this past series. It was a series that was hard to watch. I'll be honest with you. I gave up my Saturday. I was great. It's a doubleheader versus the Braves and Mets. This is going to be great. I don't care if they split it, but I get to watch Braves baseball all day long. And look, I watched both games all the way through, and it was tough to watch. But that being said, I just hope the rest of the year is not tough to watch.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.